Well, ladies and gentlemen, after viewing or putting the armor on, let's now open for a few questions. Yes, sir.
What is the material that the armor is made of?
The question is, what is the material that this armor is made of? This armor is actually the same thing as your car is. It is 14 to 16 gauge mild steel.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
What time frame was that armor used during?
This time frame is the Middle Renaissance period. This would have been in the 13 to 1500s. You actually see some of the breastplate and similar material come to the United States, not at that time, but North America in the form of conquistador armor. Yes, sir.
So what weapons is that good protection against, and what is it not good against?
This is great against sword, spear, and blunt force trauma, but it is not good against pointed or hardened tipped, such as bodkin tip arrows, pointed maces, or any hardened piercing objects that could come through. Yes, sir.
Earlier, you said that there was a difference between your armor and the armor worn from Knights on Horses. Could you go into that a little bit more, please?
Sure. Down on my legs in particular, the lower armor wraps all the way around behind my leg, therefore protecting my whole lower leg. In many mounted armor pieces, it does not, because you'd have the horse there. And the chance of that metal digging into the side of the horse would be much more dangerous than protecting the knight's leg. Yes, sir.
Were the knights typically in the vanguard or in the back?
Were the knights typically in the vanguard or in the back? They were usually in the middle, actually. The front were the expendables. They were your disposable infantry. In the back often was archers and heavy armor, mounted armor. The knights of foot would have been in the middle, as in reinforcing phalanxes to move to strengthen areas that might break. Yes, sir.
At the risk of being crude, how do you go to the bathroom?
The question is commonly asked, how do I go to the bathroom? Well, the tusset plate up front, you'll notice, has a flap. That flap is so I can go to the bathroom that way. But also, you'll notice in the back, I actually am open. Well, the only problem with that is I cannot do that by myself. And that's where your squire has to assist, and you hope your squire is nearby.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
So that really means that you and your squire have a real deep level of trust.
Me and my squire very definitely have a deep level of trust in that squire is the one that takes care of the thing that is protecting me. All the straps, all the fittings, all the connectors, they make sure are in working order and that they will not break in combat. Very often the squire would fight with the knight or close to the knight. Also, you have one piece of history that many people forget. And sir, you would know so as the friar. The gentleman always has a right-hand man.
Mm-hmm.
The reason for that right-hand man is when knights fought, they fought back to back. So they have basically complete protection of armor around them. That side that's my weak side would be my right arm, because that's my sword arm. That's the one that's swinging clear of the armor. The gentleman to my rear, the knight to my rear, is to protect that side, as I protect his right hand with my shield. Yes, sir.
What do you do when you fall down?
What do I do when I fall down? Well, to begin with, I'm a turtle. And just as if you were to hurt your back and need to get up, you know that you would have to roll, bend your knees, and then come up. Because at that point in time, a knight that could not come up was a dead knight. They could not fight. So they had to be able to be fairly athletic and get back to their feet fairly quickly.
And keep in mind, part of his backside is open. So if he falls, his back is exposed.
That's dead exposure. Yes, sir.
What is the level of difficulty of vision through the helmet?
The level of difficulty of vision through the helmet is high. It is a very narrow slit, and helmets would vary for what activity you were doing. The one I have on has a very narrow slit so that lances cannot pass through, but at the same time, an arrow or a bolt from a crossbow could. So depending on what you're dealing with, for instance, jousting, if you're doing a joust where you're going down the right-hand side of the list, you would want your left-hand side of the helmet blocked so that any lance coming in from your opponent could not come directly into your eye. Yes, sir.
How comfortably can you move around while wearing armor?
If it's fitted to you correctly, very comfortable. I mean, I can articulate rather well.
And you are very articulate. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.